She lived in silence most days. Her home a small cabin, just beyond the prairie's edge, where the tall grass whispered of storms and the wind carried voices from the town she seldom dared visit. Her name was Clara, but the whispers never used it. They called her cursed, a woman destined to walk through life with empty arms. No child at her breast, no legacy to cradle. Once she had dreamed of lullabies and laughter echoing within her home. But time and sorrow had conspired to leave her heart hollow. Every church service, every market trip, the stairs reminded her. They would glance at her belly, flat and unchanging, then avert their eyes with pity or worse, cruel smirks. A woman who cannot give life isn't much of a woman at all, she had once overheard in the general store. That sentence sank into her bones like ice, and ever since, she had carried it like an invisible scar. But what the town did not know was how many nights she had already wept into the silence, praying for some answer, some mercy. Then came the cowboy. He was a stranger when he first rode in, his hat tilted low, his boots dusty from a trail that stretched across deserts and mountains alike. He was the kind of man who carried both weariness and hope in his eyes. A paradox Clara had never seen before. His name was Luke, and he had come not seeking fortune or cattle, but a place where his soul could rest after too many years of drifting. Folks said he was dangerous, a man who had seen too much, but Clara only saw gentleness in the way he tied his horse at the post, in the way he tipped his hat to women passing by, and in the quiet patience with which he helped old Mr. Dyer fix his broken wagon wheel. Luke had hands rough from work, yet steady enough to mend what others discarded. Perhaps that was what drew Clara's heart to him before she even realized it. Their paths crossed one evening when the sky burned with the kind of sunset that seemed to set the world on fire. Clara had gone to fetch water from the well, her bucket heavier than her arms could manage, and it slipped, crashing against the stones. Before she could bend to retrieve it, Luke appeared, lifting the bucket as if it weighed nothing, his smile warm but unassuming. "Heavy loads don't belong in hands already carrying sorrow," he said softly. Clara froze, her eyes narrowing. How did he know? But he said nothing more, only offered her the filled bucket, his gaze lingering on her face as though searching for something she had hidden away for too long. From that day, Luke found reasons to be near, fixing her fence, helping mend the roof after a storm ripped shingles loose, bringing flour when the store ran out before Clara could reach it. The town began to talk, of course. They whispered that the drifter had found pity for the cursed woman, that it was only a matter of time before he moved on. Clara herself fought against hope, fearing it would betray her again. But Luke never wavered. He was there, steady as the sunrise, his presence both comfort and challenge, teaching her that love did not come because of what she could give, but because of who she was. One night, under a sky heavy with stars, Clara confessed. Her voice trembled like brittle glass as she said, "You don't understand. They're right about me. My arms will always be empty. I'll never give you the children you deserve, the family a man like you should have." Her words were sharp, almost begging him to turn away before he bound himself to her grief. But Luke stepped closer, his hands finding hers, strong and certain. His voice was low, but it carried the weight of a promise that could never be broken. "Clara," he said, his eyes never leaving hers, "they've called you cursed because they don't see what I see. You think your arms are empty, but to me, they're the only arms I want to hold me when the world grows cold. My arms are yours forever. Do you understand? Forever." Clara's breath caught, tears spilling faster than she could stop them. In that moment the curse shattered, not because her life had changed in the way others demanded, but because she finally saw the truth. She had always been enough. Her worth was not measured by the children she bore, but by the heart that beat inside her chest, the kindness in her soul, the strength she carried despite the world's cruelty. Luke saw her, not the absence, not the emptiness, but the woman who deserved love without condition. When word spread through town that Luke had asked Clara to be his wife, the whispers grew louder. Some scoffed, others shook their heads. But for the first time, Clara did not hear them. She only heard Luke's voice each time. He looked at her as though she were the only reason the sun rose. Their wedding was simple, held beneath the wide sky with only a handful of friends. But to Clara, it was a cathedral of grace. The man who had wandered for years had chosen her, and she had chosen him. In his arms, she found a home stronger than walls, deeper than roots. Years passed, and though no child's laughter filled their home, it was never silent. The air rang with music, with conversations by the fire, with shared dreams that stitched two hearts together. Sometimes children from the town would wander to their porch, drawn by the warmth that radiated from Clara's smile and Luke's stories. They would sit for hours, eating cookies she baked, listening wide-eyed to tales of trails and rivers. Though they never had children of their own, their lives touched countless others. Clara realized then that motherhood was not only about birth. It was about love given freely, about arms that welcomed and hearts that never turned away. And when she walked through town with Luke's hand firmly holding hers, the whispers no longer mattered. She was not cursed. She was cherished, and in his eyes she was everything.